thought I had it all. He was building a multifamily building. He's like, hey man, I want you to be my GC, I want you to be my contractor. I was like, I'd love to do it, but it ain't gonna stand. But something that my father always used to tell me, and fear and embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. You know, it's okay to fail, it's okay to not be comfortable, you know, it's okay to, you know, not be successful in trying something. I did something that was very nerve-wracking to be able to hold those conversations, and that was what I was most nervous about.
After having them, how did you feel?
Even more nervous.
All right, you guys, we got a hot one here today. I'm joined by truly one of my oldest friends in the business to this day. We got Darin Johns with us. Darren, thanks for being with me, man.
Hey, I'm very blessed, man. I'm very, very glad to do this, man.
No, I'm super excited, Darren. I mean, really, I want everybody to kind of hear your story, what the background is. Can you kind of bless the audience and just kind of give everybody a synopsis as far as where you started, how we know each other?
Yeah. So yeah, I've known Jamal, like he said, it's probably one of my longest standing friends in my state, like, you know, being from Colorado, but also in this business. You know, he definitely forefronted my success from the beginning. Kind of a little history about myself. I didn't always want to do something like this. I didn't love the idea of sales. I didn't love the idea of being inside. You know, I'm an outside person. Like, I wanted to work with my hands. At least I thought I had to, at least, you know. And so I went to college for firefighting. So I went through that and was, you know, destined for a really good career, but ran into some emotional turn points where, you know, I started to have my family. You know, me and my wife started to get more serious at the time. We were about to welcome our first child. So I started to care a little bit more selfishly, you know, and it was something, a decision we made pretty early. So decided to step away from that and kind of went right into construction. Was doing that and it was doing okay. Wasn't really paying the bills as much as we'd like, but we were getting by. We were surviving, you know. Had one of my buddies reach out to me and offered a job with his company that he was working for, doing like auto refinancing. So I was refinancing auto loans. And that was kind of my first introduction into sales. I also had like a retail job. I think I worked at Zoomies in college, but that paid you about 2 quarter pounders a day. So it wasn't much time, just with so much school going on. So refinance was my first introduction into sales. It was something that was great. It was something that people needed. I felt great doing it. You know, being able to help people lower that monthly payment. It's something that I wasn't far from needing, or, you know, being in that support field as well. So it was great to give back to people that were in the same boat that I was, lower people's monthly payment, get that stronghold of, you know, debt off their back. So it was great to be able to do that. Kind of fell out of it when I moved out of Denver, Colorado, moved back to Colorado Springs. You know, like, my family was getting a little bit bigger. We were about to welcome my second son, or my firstborn son, so my second kid. Denver was just getting real expensive, you know, for the demand of what was coming in. So moved back home, back to Colorado Springs. That's where me and Jamal originally knew each other. I moved to the Springs, or the east side of the Springs, in 8th grade. Moved into middle school at Horizon, and that's when me and Jamal actually originally met. So got through it, middle school, went through high school down in the Springs. So my family is from there, was born and raised there. So it was easy to go back. You know, it was a place that I would go to time and time again. I loved my childhood. I loved the friendship that we developed, and I'd want nothing less for my kids. So it was an easy decision. Moved back home and got into roofing. So was selling roofing sales. So going door to door, offering free quotes, getting on people's roofs, you know, looking to file claims against their insurance to get a new roof replacement, working the commissions that way. And that's how Jamal kind of, one of the times that he reached out. First one was I was doing construction, and Jamal, bless him, he thought I was a big GC, thought I had it all. He was building a multifamily building, I think it was like an apartment. Yeah. He's like, hey man, I want you to be my GC, I want you to be my contractor. I was like, I'd love to do it, but it ain't gonna stand. It's not gonna last. So, but it was great. That was the first time he reached out to me for some opportunity. And once I was into sales, he kind of reached out to me again when you and Reda, I think, were first doing your MCA or Medicare and ACA agency. Yeah. I got all my stuff going for that, and that was my first, like, I don't know if I'm ready to be inside. So I kind of got through it and was like, hey man, thanks for the opportunity. I'm gonna go elsewhere, and there was never bad blood. You know, we always had a good relationship through high school, so I imagine I was one of the couple of people that you had to reach out to, so it was always great. It was an opportunity I was glad to take. But doing roofing was cool and all, but winter came, and it was, the people stopped answering the door, they stopped letting us in.
Winter's
yeah, so you know, roofs stopped being obtainable. So I reached out to Jamal. I was asking him, like, hey man, can we do something as far as like, can I get some leads for my company? You know, what would that look like? And you were definitely okay with getting that set up. And we were kind of like about halfway through that. I was kind of letting you know that at the time, I just wasn't sure what they wanted or what I was going to be able to do for them with it. And you pretty much offered to start a roofing outlet in Colorado. You were like, okay, cool, we'll start our own company then. I was like, well, we're not there yet. We're not quite there yet either. But again, love the opportunity. But at the time, the broker program was kind of really taking off or initializing.
Yeah, it was just getting started at the time.
Yeah, so you offered it to me and you were like, hey man, I got a position, you know, it's rolling over 1099. We're gonna kind of help you, get you set up. We'll teach you everything you need to know about the business, about the industry, you know, how to be successful. And I kind of made the jump pretty much right away. Was definitely a struggle for my family at the time, just jumping into something new and waiting on the revenue to start, but kind of stuck it out and developed from there.
Now, Darren, like, hey, thank you for the backstory. I mean, that gives a lot of context to a lot of people. But when you were initially getting started, Darren, like, I know there was some hesitation there. Like, we were talking about doing something completely different than you've ever done before.
Yeah.
Like, how did you initially feel coming into the business and like jumping in feet first and trying to really pick up what we were putting down?
I was nervous, completely nervous, but something that my father always used to tell me and something that I try to always live by, you know, is that fear and embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. You know, it's okay to fail. It's okay to not be comfortable. You know, it's okay to, you know, not be successful in trying something. So definitely was willing to do it, but I was super nervous. These are CEOs like yourself. These are, you know, mass media teams. These are big financing firms. These are law firms. Like, these are really, you know, in the industry, important people, and they're high level people. People in here, been in the industry 20 years. I've been in the industry, you know, this long. So I was really nervous to not have a good footprint or a good opening point with a lot of these people. So I was extremely hesitant about, you know, for one, going to these shows, but also just getting on the phone with people.
Yeah.
Getting on the phone and telling a big CEO that the money is either behind or I messed up. I did something that was very nerve-wracking to be able to hold those conversations. And that was what I was most nervous about.
And after having them, how did you feel?
Even more nervous. Because I usually, in the beginning, I was doing stuff wrong. But like I said, I was failing. I wasn't afraid to fail at that time, you know. So the team was behind me. They weren't just going to throw me to the wolves. You told me from the beginning, you know, act in a way that's best for the business, and I'll never be mad at you. I'll never hold anything against you. We'll get through whatever it is, like long as you're acting in accordance to the business. So always keeping that in mind. Certain things still failed or whatever. We had to work through a couple hiccups in the beginning, you know, a couple misrepresentations, you know, failed expectations, but nothing that we weren't able to like grow and learn from.
No, for sure. And Darren, like, you went to your first conference pretty quickly after you first got started.
Yeah.
We're at a conference right now. Like, give everybody some context as far as what your first conference experience did to you.
It taught me that you can fail and still be okay. I was like 2 minutes into the very first show. I'm excited because it's a big show. I want to say it was the Tampa one, right? Or down there in Florida.
Yeah, it was Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, so it was Lead Gen World down there in Florida, the Hard Rock Hotel. It was amazing. It looked so cool. I'm excited walking into it. And you walk through this exhibit hall into this, like, there's nothing but suits and ties, 1,000 booths. There's a roar that's going on. And I was like, that excitement turned into fear kind of right away. Okay, now it's time. You know, people are here for real business. People are here for real answers. So we're hosting the booth. 2 minutes in, somebody comes into me and they're like, hey man, what do you guys do? Give them the small spiel that I try to learn in the elevator right before we get there on exactly what EDM is. And he's like, cool man, I want ACA calls. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. And he's like, well, what's your guys' CPA? And I don't even remember the word yet. Like, I'm still learning the industry. I don't come from this, but I was a lead buyer. I just got a lead sheet, you know, from that refinancing firm. And he's like, and I just get nervous. I don't know why. The first word that came out, I said $400. And he was like, well, he just gave me that look like, yeah, I don't think so then. And I was like, I try to do my best of like reverting that and asking him, you know, trying to switch the question up pretty quick, like, you know, that like, where do you guys see yours as at currently? And I've learned that that's kind of the best way. You know, people coming in or that are new to it, you know, don't speak before you know anything, but try to find a way for them to give you a good answer, you know, kind of to point you in the right direction of where you should be kind of looking at.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Now, from getting started to going to your first show to getting thrown into the ocean, like, what were some of your biggest takeaways from that first event of you personally at the end of everything?
at the end of it, that fear was completely gone. It wasn't long of, for one, that first the guy that didn't just blow me off. He ended up being one of my very first accounts. We ended up working together. I was open to him about, where my position was and what I was starting. He told me that this is something that if he would have started at, the age that I was at the time, that he would do it once and over again as many times as he possibly could. So he told me to keep it into it, stick it out. And then that's what I learned, that these are just regular people that either found their success or built their success. They're still average Joe guys, knowing you and knowing how we grew up and, the relationship that we had, that is what I see in a lot of these other people, is that they're just regular guys that started a business with somebody else and is just, out here looking for more business. They're just people, they're just people.
And how relieving was it after you realized that, hey, you're just dealing with people, to talk to everybody?
People like to toot their own horn, so people love to share their success. They love to show how they're an expert in their field. So that is and I love to be a sponge. So for one thing, I never think you can ever stop growing and learning. Yeah. And at the time I was brand new. So anything anybody was telling me or, any story anybody was going over, I was very gracious for them to share that. And they were very open to doing that. So they took the time, taught me what I thought that I needed to know at the time, shared me what they were doing. And that was able to forefront how fast I was able to excel in something that was so new for me, was how open everybody was able to be to me. Everybody can eat. That's what everybody kept saying. Yeah. There's enough for all of us.
Yeah,
I can't do business with you for whatever reason. We're not in the same industry, same fields, but this is the success I saw from when I was doing what you were doing, or this is the partner that I know in the space that you were doing. So I was very gracious of how open people could be.
And when you were first getting started, Darren, I felt like as much as you wanted to go all in, you had a need to make money. You had a need to make money quickly. And I felt like, you were doing anything and everything to make sure that your household was able to stay strong, make sure you were able to keep producing for the family. What was that like, trying to balance both a part-time job and trying to go all in on the commission-only position, where you had the upside to be able to do something big term?
Yeah, so kind of going back to it, the fear of being underexplored or the failure of being underexplored, but it's still never an option. Failing out is never an option. We're always going to keep our feet moving, always going to keep rolling into new stuff. And that's what I had to do at the time, leaving the industry that I was at, learning into doing something, and still having to make those bills, getting paid, having kids now at this time, I'm on my next kid. So I'm on my second boy. So now we welcome 3 beautiful, healthy kids in this family, and I got mouths to feed. I got my support from my friends and my family and everything, but overall I got a responsibility to do. So I was trying other things in the off times, so early morning before the phones got active, I was trying the Amazon, and in the evening I was doing Uber and Lyft and trying to juggle everything. And I was gonna do it until somebody told me that I couldn't do it anymore, so you guys were gracious with still me learning and everything, but you never gave up on me. You never told me that, hey man, this is not going to work out for you. You guys treated it like a coach does with a good athlete. We're tough on me, showed me exactly what I was doing, told me exactly what I wasn't doing right, and was able to help me still grow in there. But I had to come into a really bad T in the crossroads, where it became like, hey, this isn't always, it's still business. We still got personal friendship, but this is business. We need to make an understanding. If you're gonna jump into this, full time, or if you need to be continuing on in your side ventures. You guys were very, professional about it, but also personal about it. Sat me down, told me that you guys, knew about my family situation, and whatever the decision was, you didn't care what it, either way, you're there for my support. But basically just laid it out. They're like, hey, we will carry you to the promised land if you rock with this, but we need you to put more time into it. You need to have the evenings when you're doing nothing but thinking about the accounts that you're doing, the doing more education, more learning. If you want to be serious about the business, don't just sit back and wait for it to come to you. Put some time into going back through and watching other success stories, other podcasts, learning and reading books, so had to really make a decision to step away from that, put all my feet into this. And once I did that, that's really when the tables turned.
And initially, how did that feel?
It was a huge relief. For one, to know that I was blessed to have everybody in my team still, but it was the success of getting that I imagine like an engineer or scientist get right when they get that discovery. When that hypothesis that they thought before finally snaps, when they finally kick.
And did it make it much easier to did you feel the freedom and flexibility that you had a whole lot more?
Yeah, it was between that, actually getting. It was I guess that came at the same time, but it was understanding not only my job role, but kind of the industry. I could hold a conversation with not just being deflective, where I'm just asking them questions, but where I'm initiating conversation, where I'm asking the questions to the answers that they're giving me. So I was able to build these true conversations and these true relationships with people. And that's when the success, started to roll in. But those are what came to.
And I think that's so incredible, because so many people struggle with that, Darren, where it's just like, and I feel it too, like going all in is fucking scary.
Yeah.
That is fucking scary.
Yeah.
And you don't know if it's going to work. And like, Darren, I don't know if you're comfortable putting this out there, but like, I want to ask you directly, how did it fucking feel when you had your first $20,000 a month?
It was crazy. This process has been a huge roller coaster. There's been, obviously in the beginning, it was nervousness. There was anger in the middle when me, you, and Reda had to sit down and have that conversation, because these guys are a lot of things, they're a lot of, friends and everything, but they're about their business for sure. It was either get in or get the fuck out. And that was a tough one. I was upset at the time, I wasn't really sure, but going through and sticking it out and really going through and then hitting that 20K time right at the perfect time. We were at the extent of how many times we could defer a payment on something. Christmas was rolling around. We had kids looking for something under the tree in time. And so December, closing out the year 2025 with that first big month was something that is just unexplainable. Like, it was graciousness. It was proud. Like, I was proud of myself for actually just sticking it out. I was gracious for you guys for pushing me and going there. And I was glad that everybody else, I was happy with my success as well. Everybody else in the program, from the other brokers to the CEOs and, financing team, everybody shared that success. Got a good call out in the meetings in the morning. It was, everybody was happy about it. It was a really cool moment.
Yeah, that was you.
Yeah.
That was all your work.
Yeah.
You did that. You did that.
It was the shows, honestly. Like, doing anything that comes back, anybody that is thinking about going, business gets done over the phone, and that's what they always say. Double taps are the only way to call people. Business gets done over the phone, but business gets done face to face.
100%.
When you can't run, when you can't,
or hang up the
when
phone.
You can't run or hang up the phone. Hey, sorry, what was that? Jamal, yeah, like, you can't do that anymore. Sorry, man, my kid's acting up, man. You can't do it. But like here, hey, man, what's going on? Your computer is right in front of you. We're always traveling with our computer, and everything's right there. And you can do the same thing. You can call out somebody's bullshit. Hey, man, we were here at this last show. Okay, cool. Now we can actually fulfill these partnerships and develop the growth that we were actually looking for.
I feel that. And Darren, like, what was that transition like? Because you personally, you sit heavily on the publishing side, which is the fulfillment side of our business, feeding all of our offers, our advertisers. What really made that part of the business a good fit for you? What made you really start to gravitate towards that side of the business?
It was the satisfaction that you get from other brokers or other people's success that you can contribute to. When when you can house the publishing side of the business and you're fulfilling campaigns, you're getting your publisher paid, you're getting a buyer paid, you're getting the company paid, and you're getting another broker paid. There is no greater satisfaction than seeing when my numbers go up, and then the very next person that comes up, yeah, my numbers today were 10,000, yada, yada. And I know that that's because it was one of my accounts. Like, so the publishing side, growing relationships, growing the business, like the procurement, the business development, like, that really took success for me. Like,
and what have you learned about like relationship management from being with all these different people and onboarding partners? Like, what have you learned about relationship management?
That people want what everybody wants. What you wanted from your parents when you were young, what you want from your partner now, like, is honesty. Like, people want somebody that's honest. If something's fucked up, tell me. If something's messed up, if something's like not performing well, just tell me, If something's performing well, just call out the bullshit, be honest, and be communicative. The last thing you want to hear, or your bosses want to hear, is, hey, I wasn't able to get a hold of your guy. I got business for you, I can't get a hold of your guy. So being communicative and being honest with the open, like, of where they're at in the process is two of the most important things for managing relationships, building them, and sustaining them.
Oh, can't say that better.
Yeah.
That was fucking perfect. Now, Darren, I think everybody really is so curious as far as like, all right, so you go from this transition where, you're getting started, you're struggling, you're figuring things out. We have a tough conversation, you go all in, you start having success. Like, what do you think for anybody that's new or coming into the ecosystem, because you've seen a lot of these guys start to come inside the ecosystem, what makes people successful and what doesn't make people successful?
You gotta have some sauce. Like, to be in this business, you gotta be able to be a deal maker. You gotta be able to, even if it isn't always advantage for you, if it can still be profitable for the business and profitable for the other side of that buyer, it's still good for business, it's still growing. So you gotta be able to make those deals and everything, but actually being able to have commitment into the actual industry itself. So like, not just trying to join it as a get rich quick kind of scheme. This isn't where you completely have that opportunity. You come here to these shows, you find that but you got to learn that it's about building these relationships in the long run. You know, this account does 10,000 this month. If they don't ever do that again, that's worthless. Like, so really being able to stay consistent with these partner relationships.
And what have you learned as far as like those that like get started? Let's say they do have the sauce, right? But they're not willing to put in the work, right? So we display this great lifestyle, everything we're doing. Like, what have you learned about the balance of the business? What have you learned about like what the day-to-day looks like? Like, explain that, because I don't think we have a 9-to-5 schedule.
Yeah.
I don't think that exists, but give some perspective on that.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't chase a one-trick pony. Like, that one account might lead to your success, but that's when people fall off, and they fall off early, is they get an account and it's doing well for them, and they think, okay, all my bills are paid off of this one account. I don't got to do anything anymore. We always knock on wood that account stays evergreen or stays consistent, but that account falls out, you're back at square one. So being able to keep a really deep or depth book of business of where you're really continuously working with as many people as you can is how you'll actually stay sustainable, stay successful, and really build something, even if it's not quick, but you're guaranteed. You put the time into it, it's impossible to not build a solid, developed business if you're putting the time and effort into it. And like that 9-to-5 thing, and that's probably why I started to see the success, because I realized it wasn't just the time. I was working, you guys told me about a job that I had to do, so I was doing it. I was on at 9 for the morning calls and everything, and I was working through the end of the day when, East Coast time went over. But that time after that is a little bit extra where you're still making, because we're working with partners from different countries, different continents, where it's 12:30 in the morning for them, and when it's afternoon, they're giving us the courtesy of answering. I can still make business at night, and why not? Why not continue to eat dinner and take a phone call that can potentially start you up on a better route next corner? So really being able to put a full amount of time into it. It's not something that's going to consume your family, and you're going to have to live and die behind your computer.
What does the work-life balance look like for you today?
The learning of it was the longest, and that's when I had to have the most time that I was putting in. That's when I was, after the job was done, after the phone calls were over, I was going through and trying to learn as much as I could. I was going through LinkedIn and looking at all those stories, listening to everything, looking for podcasts. You guys had the university. I was going back and forth and redoing it as much as I could, just to try to have, like I said, that knowledge base to hold a sturdy conversation, or to have some actual acquisitions to be able to talk about. So at that time, it was really waking up early, getting all of my notes and stuff ready before that morning time. So I was putting a lot of effort into it. Now I have great flexibility. I still put in the time, because you can't just let off the gas. You can't just let off the gas. So I'm still putting in, a good amount of that time that's in there, but it's definitely having the flexibility that if you want to, be able to take a little trip somewhere and do something, you can take a little bit of time away from it, but still come in and work for it.
Yeah. And have you noticed like your travel life has changed too, where it's like, hey, I don't have to ask to go somewhere. All I need to do is just stay available.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's something that a lot of people like, but they don't realize that, hey, just because I'm traveling, I'm living the nomad lifestyle, doesn't mean I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
A lot of people think like they just disappear and do nothing, which I do think constrains a lot of people in terms of like what they actually have the potential to do. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, hey, most people take a vacation once a year. You can take a vacation every month.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a part of the life and the lifestyle. You just moving and growing. And I love that about this business.
Oh, yeah.
What is one of the things that you wish you would have known when you first got started, Darren, that someone out there that wants to get into this business, that's trying to get started, they need to be mindful of and pay attention to before they get going?
Is to not get cocky or anything too fast. Like don't let that first bit of money steer you off into dropping that big amount on that car or switching up your regular lifestyle. Like to really stay modest in the fact of it, because you might be doing a lot of money, but the guy that you're asking to do business with, or the next guy that you're looking to do business with, is making 10x what you're making right now. So being able to stay modest, being able to stay humble and everything, and really just being able to know when I was going to be needed to do the job that they were going to be asking me for. The hardest thing in the beginning of it was putting in the time to actually kind of give my publishers what they needed and kind of rolling through it, but also giving my family the time and effort that they needed. And that's what has kind of resulted in, after I've actually kind of learned the business, now I have a sturdy book of business and, steady stream of income. And now it's all about freedom. I've been unlocked from freedom in so many different fashions, freedom of financial struggle, where I'm not being constrained to all of my income going into just bills. And we're eating, very simply for the rest of the while. Traveling freedom now. So my family is, I had a great lifestyle. My dad worked as hard as he could, and my mom to work to make sure that we still had a decent lifestyle, but we weren't like that. We were traveling once a year and everything. Now being able to have that freedom that if we want to take somewhere, or if my daughter's doing good in school, we can just kind of, book or take that trip somewhere. And I know that I can bring that laptop. I'm still going to get work done. We're not going to be taking any hits in it that way. We're not chipping into the kids' funds or savings to be able to take them. So we're unlocked from that financial restraints and everything. And then time freedom is now I love being able to take my daughter to work or to school in the morning. Being able to pick her up afterwards. And still be able to do that and while work this business. So it's amazing.
Man, I love that. And what would you say about the culture at EDM? How is the culture at EDM? How would you describe it there?
First world is wild. It is definitely but it's something that attracts it attracts people in this industry, because we're not the stuck up type, or we're not the suit and tie only type. We can attract people that are looking to be personable, people that are they're looking for either they're new or something, or they're old dogs as well. They're just not looking for another huge shop to make them sign under some big retention contract. We're fun, we're doing these things, we're hosting events and everything, but it's initially wild. But it's I think more about friendship. I'd want to say brotherhood, but we have a lot of females that are on the group as well. But it's a family. It's something that I have that relationship with you with, but it's cool that we still share that with, one, that you share that with everybody else, but that I get to share that with everybody else as well. There's not too many industries or businesses where you get to travel like this and you're with like-minded people. People coming from all different backgrounds. We have guys on our team, they're ex-NFL players. We have guys that are ex-car salesmen, nannies, really anything and everything. And being able to have that family and help each other grow, it is really something that's super different. We're built on competitiveness with each other, with our numbers, but then we get out here at these shows and we're doing basketball games, we're doing competitions, playing pool against each other, betting here and there, small little bets. It is something that's super cool, very, very, very different than kind of that big industry, that or big business, a big corporate, that you would think of. How large EDM is, and being able to have that is probably the thing that makes me stick around. The things that made it easy for that decision when we had to have that hard conversation.
And I'm so curious, Darren, I've been asking everybody this. What was your first impression when you first met Reda?
The Dos Equis man. The Dos Equis man, the most interesting man in the world. I'm sitting at these shows, and for one, I'm texting my wife because I'm like, oh my, it's like this, and it's like this, and somebody see me like this, and then I get on a conversation about Reda, and I'm like, oh yeah, this guy was an ex-bodybuilder. This guy was he served. This guy, he was a trainer. Oh my God, this guy has pictures with Tom Brady. And the one time I'm sitting there with Reda, and I'm sitting there just always listening to him. He's talking about these stories. He has so many different places where he came from. But then I'm like, man, Reda, you need a book. He's like, oh, brother, I have one. You want the link? I was like, oh my goodness. I bought it, of course. But he is so cool because he's like that father of our uncle or, heavy coach that is real aggressive with you or very stern with you if he's serious and he wants you to know how he's coming off. But if he wants to put that time into you, if he wants to either grow your business or grow your success, he's gonna have that tougher love on you. He's not just gonna baby you. He's not gonna tell you it's gonna be okay when it's the things aren't bad. He has no problem really drawing that line in the sand. And that's something I respect about him so much.
And I would say, like, what was your impression when you saw our dynamic?
It was like that. It was like a married couple. Like I made a joke one time in one of the meetings. It's like that Married with Children show back in the day, but it's EDM with children, and you and Reda are just like their parents because you're from two totally different demographics. Like obviously you guys come from both really strong families and everything, but you guys have different ways that you've come into the business that you're at. And you guys are totally two different people. Like there's few things that you guys share that are like the exact same, but you guys have that yin and yang to each other that one, make your business work, but that make everybody else love you. Like you guys attract a different type of people. You guys relate with people the same. Like it is a super weird dynamic, but it is something that's so cool to be able to see.
I appreciate that, Dan. And like, I know it was probably like weird to come in because when you first got started, you're like, man, I thought this was like a restaurant.
Yeah, no, it was funny. It was something small, and when the first show I was at, my eyes are just bugging out. And Jamal's like, he's like, "What? You didn't think it was this big?" I was like, "Bro, I didn't think your company was this big." He was like, "What, you thought I was running a coffee shop?" And I was like, "I didn't really know because you're so humble, man. Like we follow each other on social media. Like I know your parents, like I know your family, like still follow your relatives and stuff and your siblings on social media." But you don't boast, you don't brag about your success. You weren't at our 10-year reunion like bragging about what you're doing, and you're offering success to all the people that you grew up with. All the people that I know that they know what I do, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Jamal did mention there's something like that to me," or "I remember he did, reach out." Like you don't separate yourself above anybody just because you have some success. You worked hard from it. You come from a very successful upbringing as far as how your father,
Give these people some context there. People think I'm full of shit with this. How long I've been working there?
Probably since he was like 12. Probably since he was about 12. I remember the first time I think I met your actual dad was I think we were in high school, and I don't remember if it was our freshman year, but Jamal was like, "Yeah, man, like we got a restaurant, like you guys can come by and eat." And me and Michael were like, "Okay, cool, that sounds fun. We'll go over there." So we came over, we go to the restaurant, and he's got back there cooking. And he's like, "You're making the sandwiches and everything." And it was some amazing food. And that was when I first kind of got introduced to your father and kind of got to hear his story and be able to share some of his knowledge with us. But he is a stern man. He's a cut of a man like Reda, like my father. Like the failure is not an option kind of thing. And it doesn't matter like whether you're 5 or you're 50, like failure is just not an option. And like I said, it's one of those things that you just gotta respect about people.
Yeah,
he had me working that young.
It's so funny. Like nobody wanted if I said, "Hey, come help me with something," they knew it was some fucking work.
Yeah, I did it the first time, and it was me and Langston, and I can't remember who else it was, but just because we lived in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey man, we need some help," and for one, I'm always about making a good impression. "Hey man, my parents need something." Cool, I always love to have at least a good any impression I love to leave on somebody. It's always got to be good. So
yeah.
I have no problem going and doing that. I love when parents love me. We get there, he's like, "Yeah, you see all this workout stuff? We're gonna move all of that up, and we're gonna move it all out." And we were like, "Oh, so yeah, it was working like a full day, like a full day."
Oh yeah, there's a lot of work to do all the time.
Yeah, people always they're like, "Oh, like do you have a lot of pictures with Jamal of like out and about at like parties and stuff?" I was like, Jamal was not partying. Jamal was working. Like his dad was either asking about what he's doing, was working, and he had that success in like early driven young, man. And I'm sure you're very grateful for that.
Now, hindsight's always 2020,
yeah.
right? I hated his dad for a long time, but it was one of those things where it's just like, man, I don't know how my life would have changed if we grew up differently.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's all we knew. But they made us want to get out very, very fast. I remember one time we were talking and my parents just started charging us rent.
Oh.
I was like 15 or 16. My parents started charging us rent. I'm like, I got to get the fuck up out of here. That's why I had to graduate early. I say, if I'm going to be paying for the house, I need to have my own.
Yeah, and you did, and that's where we used to go and hang out and stuff afterwards. You had that spot off Academy in Austin Bluffs.
Yeah,
it was cool having a good upbringing, man. Like, man, I want to hear about more yours yourself, man. What was the process like of leaving like high school and going into like stressing into like direct business? Because you served your time in the military, and then you got right into business. Like you and Reda met so young, that's why I didn't know how big your thing was, because I didn't know how long you were doing it. I thought but then
everything was running simultaneously, right? So even when I was in the military, I got 2 licenses at the same time. I got my insurance license and I got my real estate license. So I got both of those licenses at the same time because I thought that's where the money was, right? So I learned very quickly that A, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that is the realest thing I've ever heard. And not everybody has the best interest of your best interest.
Yeah.
And it was a tough lesson. And when I met Reda, it was serendipitous because there's been a lot of moments in my life where I do genuinely feel like God has forced me to do certain things. And it was my ability not to say no that allowed those things to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that sometimes people put themselves in the way of a blessing by just saying no to an opportunity, not knowing what could be a result.
Being okay, being uncomfortable with something.
Yeah, and
doing something uncomfortable.
Yeah, so like Reda, for example, I met Reda only because I got a phone call the night before a builder event for insurance agencies. Okay. And I told my wife, I was like, babe, I technically wasn't invited to this, but I'm gonna go anyway. Like, it was kind of one of those things, and it was just like, I have to go.
Yeah.
And I booked a red-eye flight, literally got there the next morning. Reda was presenting on stage, but little fast forward, when he got off the stage, there was only one seat open, and it was right next to him. And that was how we met. And I was like, hey, I like what you were talking about, yada, yada. And I was like, hey, you write more business than me, but I make more money than you. Let me show you how. And that was because I started advertising myself. And that was how I was generating all the leads, generating the media. And that's how I learned about the media business.
Nice.
But it was like, I was under the mindset of, I'm gonna market for myself and just directly sell the product. We realized quickly that is scalable. It has value. People are willing to pay for it, but it didn't have like scale. Like I want stupid scale.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking for something that's going to be able to skyrocket and go to the moon. And the insurance business had that, but it was a slower burn than what I really, really wanted.
Yeah.
So when Reda and I really joined forces, that exploded quickly. We had a very fast transaction, move all that money into the call center space, and we learned very quickly, like, we didn't know what we did.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of been the name of the game. And I kind of think, like, that blind optimism is what makes you do certain things. Because if I know what I know now, I would probably not do a lot of shit.
If I know what I know now, I would have been a 20K employee month one. And that's the blessing about this broker program, is that you can come in from a nobody, not knowing anything, and you're just looking to be a dog in an industry, or you can come with somebody that already has a huge book of business and you're just looking for a platform to exchange that media on already.
Yeah.
These guys that are starting, hey, I already been working with this guy for 5 or 6 years. I got this relationship. They can come in and start and basically generate instantly in the same day.
Yeah, exactly. And go live same day.
Yeah.
Manage everything and track everything same day.
Yeah,
And let's talk about that, Darren. What would you do today, or knowing what you know now, what would you do to be able to get to 20K a day as fast as possible?
That's a good question. I think, for one, if it was a new person that's starting out, so say I was like starting out like I was before and didn't have any of my initial knowledge, I would have gone all in from the beginning. That time is very short in hindsight. If I would have just, focused in, learned the business, do what I can, like right from the beginning, and actually built my knowledge base and built full-time commitments. Because all I was doing is, during that time, I was tired in the morning. Like, doing all those other jobs, I was tired, I was lazy, I was half-assing stuff, like just messaging people. But if I was really to put all of my feet, like just jump, like you said, it's like right into the deep end from the beginning, I think I would have found that success a lot more early and been able to build those relationships a lot faster.
And it would have been all centered around just doing more activity.
Just more activity, because I was losing business, and I'd come to these shows and people were like, hey man, I was messaging you and like your communication fell out. And it might have just been just because I opened up something and went to the next message or something, or wasn't fulfilling or doing everything that I was supposed to be doing as far as the business development side of it, just because I was trying to juggle so many different things at once.
I feel that. And I think that's real. A lot of people do struggle with that. I mean, I struggle with folks.
And if it's now, I can, now that I have my knowledge base and I can make these meaningful conversations a lot faster. If I'm ready to venture into something where I want to, start a construction business, or, a consultant, whatever it might be, outside the industry, I can do that on my own time, because the job has nothing but freedom, flexibility.
And in terms of how you would train yourself today versus how you initially got trained, what would you do differently to train now to be able to get competent as fast as possible?
That program that I don't know if it's fully released out, but we've built that AI training agent. If I at the time, and it's something that will call you on your bullshit just like you and Reda does. I remember the first time he calls me, I was like, hey man, call this number. And I think it's like a business opportunity, so I call it, and right when it answers, and it doesn't even sound like AI. Like I'm very familiar with how it has a very hint to it, and the first couple of questions, I'm like, is this kind of AI or anything? So I'm like kind of going with it, but it's asking me in-depth questions. And I'm answering and they're like, that doesn't really answer what I'm looking for. That doesn't really, get to what I'm looking for. Can you go into a little bit further detail about this? I'm like, oh goodness, like, okay, so doing that, like right out of the gates, like having that availability to not waste leads or waste, good customers because of the conversation I didn't know how to have.
Yeah.
I'd be doing that nonstop back to back. And it's still something.
The training agents.
It's still something I do because I don't know everything yet. Like you said, you don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot that I'm still learning in this industry.
And it does help as you start to get more and more of those reps. That's the whole reason why we created it, you guys. So if you're getting started, there's actually a number that you can call for training. Different scenarios, both from the publishing side, advertiser side, so you can know exactly what you're going to experience when you get on the phone with these people. You don't want to fuck up your book of business when you're just getting started because you don't know how to answer a question and people are starting to question your competency. This will allow you to fuck up as many times as you want and still be able to move forward and know what you didn't know and look that stuff up.
And get the feedback afterwards.
Yeah.
Like it'll tell you like, hey, at this certain point, you didn't exactly cover what the agent was looking for. Like it's gonna, like the call itself is training, but what you get afterwards is as well. Like it's something that's amazing for the brokers. The brokers program is keen right now.
And because you saw it from the beginning there. Yeah, it wasn't what it is today at the beginning. But like, what has that evolution looked like in terms of the broker platform, what we make available now? Like, what's your feedback on that as a whole?
You guys make it impossible to fail. You give the internal support, you give leadership, you give training, you give a book of business, and you basically give the program. Like, it's impossible for anybody that's looking to start or to run it to not find success in it right away. You log in, you complete your training, and maybe now you do a couple of those phone things. We see you have it. And we have people that are reaching out from all of our different, social media aspects that are ready to do business with us and are just applying in the system. And these leads are coming in, abundantly. And now when these brokers are coming on, they're ready to go. Cool, here's 30, here's 50, here's 100 accounts for you to be able to work through, find out which ones are active, find out which ones are serious to be able to do it. And we're gonna tell you exactly, you plug them in, cool, get them on the phone, we'll help you close the first couple. Cool, it's almost impossible to fail out on those now.
You hear that, you guys? It's impossible to fail. But let me ask you this, Darren. What do you think causes people to fail?
Inability to learn from their mistakes. People that are gonna do the same thing. My grandma used to tell me, a hard head make a soft ass. People that if you're gonna keep letting the same things happen to you, you're gonna get beat down on it. And it's gonna make you fail out. Whether you wanna fail or not, you're gonna get pushed out. If you're doing the same thing and you're getting it wrong, you're gonna get blacklisted through the industry. People are gonna start talking. Your name's gonna be coming up on LinkedIn the way you don't want it to come up on. So being able to learn from your mistakes is the easiest way to continue to grow. And that's how I imagine everybody that's already been in this industry, when they're talking about being here for 15, 20 years, they can tell you exactly how much money they've lost, how they've lost it, and that was the last time that they lost it.
Yeah. No, that's so real. Oh, man, that hits me differently, because I feel that one. Now, on the other side, Darren, it's kind of like there's more people that are interested in this opportunity. They're worried about kind of having control over everything. What have you seen as far as control? Because some people, they don't want to be a part of the EDM brand. They have their own brand. They want to do their own thing. What would you say for those people that are in that state of mind that don't necessarily want to adopt everything that we're necessarily doing? Do you think that's okay, or do you think that there's some friction to that?
You guys have already pretty much thought of everything. Anybody that's looking to run that, now you're able to offer your guys' system for just nothing. You basically allow somebody to come in and rebrand your brand that you're already doing with their names on it. So they're able to white label the account. onboard their publishers as if they're onboarding to their own network. Their buyers or anything don't even have to know us. They're running through our ecosystem. They're running with our operations team. It's an amazing way for these people that have a much larger book of business to not just pawn that off to somebody, but to be able to monetize that, have a platform to be able to understand and see the margins and what part of the deal they're going to get at. Because nobody wants to bring somebody a bunch of business and they get kicked out of the middle of it and not make nothing on it.
They can't track nothing.
They can't track nothing, and
see it is all fucked.
Yeah, so the visibility, the transparency, the affordability, it's something that you guys have really thought about everything, because you guys are it's a platform for users built by users.
Yeah.
You guys needed something that was to fix a problem as terrible lead system or lead generating systems, lead processing. There was a huge gap or a need for what was going on, and you guys have built that, and you continue to listen. There's all of the features for submitting requests of, you don't like how we're doing it, tell us how to do it better. You guys run it and operate it very smooth in that fashion.
How has it been working with the rest of the team? Not just our media broker team, but just the entire operations team, tech team. Like, what has that experience been like? Do you feel like they're accessible? Like, what's the feedback overall?
Yeah, it's great. They're among the crowd of people that are happy for your success, because it reflects on them to know that the job that they're doing in the background is meaning something, is coming to light. They're working through the processing system. They're working on the alpha system. They're working on the postbacks and everything. So when it works and it's success, that's all because of them. They know that it's all because of them, and that's the shout out that we're able to give back to them. But they're so easy to get a hold of. It's a Teams chat, a link away. These guys they're available for us. It seems 24 hours a day. It seems I can give Jane a call, or what do these people call at 2 a.m, and they're going to answer and give me an answer. So the getting operational, help is very smooth and easy. And that's what we give our publishing teams or our brokers and everything. We allow them to work right with our direct internal people that we're already setting anything up with, that will fix the problems so that they don't arise for you guys or for them.
Yeah. And what have you noticed about the industry in terms of transparency?
That it's something that a lot of people are surprised at what we do, because it is like a strong gate. People are holding back on it. It's something that hey, people are just hey, we got it. Just take it for what we got it. Us being able to show people the creatives, the landers, the compliancy packages of all the publishers in our network, and this is thousands of people. We're willing to show you exactly who we're working with. Don't go around and burn us, or we're always going to know, and we got no problem cutting you out from the business for that or whatever. But we're fully open with kind of showing what's behind with us to make sure that it's successful with everything.
Yeah, and have you noticed how secretive everybody is in the business?
Yeah, and especially too, and it's when they're coming around and other people come into those, and they're like, how much does it cost? I'm it doesn't cost anything. We make money when you make money.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, there's something behind that. There's something wrong.
There's a catch.
So there's just been, I think it's just a habit that people have gained from just having so many either bad experiences or just dealing with such large different companies and stuff like that.
No, I feel that.
But the broker program is cool, and it has grown. But at the beginning, it said that you said it wasn't something that you wanted to share. At first, it wasn't something that you were comfortable. What made you really want to open it up? Because you give a lot of people a lot of stuff for nothing, basically.
I realized, Darren, me and Reda had a conversation about this, where for a long time we were in this mindset of hoarding everything, right? It's hey, we would just want to build the business as much as we possibly can. I think the best way for us to build the business now is to make as many people as possible, as much money as possible.
Yeah.
And as a byproduct, we'll be able to reap the reward ultimately.
Yeah.
And it's honestly changed the culture for us, because it's the type of talent that we've always wanted, we haven't been able to keep or sustain because of the restrictions that we had bringing people internally and limiting their ability to grow.
Yeah.
Right? For a long time, we offered no commissions.
Yeah.
There was no commissionable upside for any of our internal salespeople. It was just, here's your job, you got to execute that job, and that's it.
Yeah.
And, once we started to realize, hey, there's enough to go around, and then started to look at it and say, these people are already getting the margin anyway when we sell indirect, right? Yeah. So it's hey, your margins can be better, our margins can be better if we work together.
Yep.
And we can consolidate this marketplace as a whole. So that was my goal, and I don't want to cause any friction. The one thing that I hate more than anything is people that make shit hard.
Yeah.
I don't like shit being made hard. I want to make it simple. I want to get people started right, but I don't want people to try to exploit what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, like we do give a lot, like the transparency's there, everything is there, but it's just like, hey, if I'm gonna give you all of me, you give me all of you.
And that was the conversation that you and Reda had with me. That's when you guys broke it down. Hey, we're giving you everything from our side. Give it back and then decide if it's not going to work after that. Like, put in all the time, put in all the effort, put in all the chance to, you know, educate yourself about it, and then tell me what you think about it. And that's when that fucking, that's when that needle moved. That needle finally moved for me, and it was great. And like I said, there was nothing but surrounded, like, you know, people that were grateful for my success. It was, you know, I was very happy for, and you know, now I have an endless ceiling of what I can build to and what I can go to. Yeah, like I can.
No, I feel that.
I can, you know, start this generational wealth success. You know, it's something that I'm excited to learn about. Like I said, a million things to still learn, and always have.
What does your family think about what you're doing? Like, do they believe what you're doing? Do they think you're a drug dealer? Like,
yeah. And then now I think my neighbors and everything are starting to think that I'm a drug dealer because I don't come outside. I just work. I sit in my backyard with my kids and everything. But it's they definitely, for one, nobody really understands it. Like when I say like I'm in media or leads, everybody's like, oh, he's in IT. Like, and then I like something like that. He's in sales, and that's basically how the start of it is. But she is like super surprised and like very obviously grateful from where it's coming from, but she has no idea kind of exactly what it is outside of we get customers in other people's hands. But she definitely still is like, nah, it's something illegal. Something's not right. Something's not, like, she's ready for the ball to drop. She's ready for it to stop. Like,
oh man, that's so funny because it's just like, that's the story of my life. Where it's like, my last neighbor genuinely thought I was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
They literally thought I was drug.
The cars start getting updated. The people you bring over start changing.
I'm smoking all day, so that don't help either. So like, it was a lot of that, and you know, I want people to know that this opportunity exists because, hands down, this business has changed my life in more than I could ever even explain. But
and that's something I'm grateful for. That's changed my life more than I can ever wish, man. When I see Reda next, I'm gonna tell him too, but like, this has changed, you know, my success. I'm ready to branch it out to my friends and family that are, you know, interested in stuff like that. Like, this is something that has been amazing to me, brother. Grateful for it. Grateful for it.
No, for sure. And honestly, the power's on you, Darren, for taking that opportunity. Cause I feel like, yes, I put stuff out there and I do want to bring people up with me, especially if I know you got the sauce. If I know you got the sauce, like, yo.
And that's what I was gonna ask. I was like, when do you really like put in the effort to train somebody or to like know when the person is ready for it, or like to?
It's how bad they want it, right?
Yeah.
So like, some people you just feel that energy where it's just like, you got it and you're capable. And
because those are two different things. Yeah, you can either have it and just be lazy with it, or you can, you know, have it and be able to work it.
And it's also like, I've never been the type to really dismiss people, right? Mm-hmm. So like, if you're capable and we can really do something together, like, I'm gonna figure out how we can do it. It may not be in what I thought it was, but I'll never close the door. I'll figure out, you know, when that opportunity is gonna be able to come back or come full circle. And, you know, sometimes I do burn a bridge where it's just like, you know, principles don't align, right? If our principles don't align in life, like, we're never going to be able to work together.
Can't grow that. There's nothing to grow.
Yeah, but like, if principles are aligned, you got the sauce, and I know that the capacity and capability is there for you to do what I know is possible. I'm gonna do everything in my power to put you in that position.
Yeah.
And you know, now it's getting a little bit harder just because of time is becoming such a big constraint. But we got an amazing team around us. I think.
It's an amazing industry too.
I don't know if you feel this, Darren, but it's just like everybody wants to see everybody's success.
Yeah.
And like,
it's because we're built on each other. Like, nobody makes money if nobody else is successful.
Exactly.
If I look down on my other person, if I hope this guy gets zero, that's because he's not feeding my campaign. Like, that's crazy. Like, so like, or like being mad at a business, like, go do that business with them, learn how to work with them. And so like, there's enough space for everybody to eat.
I think there's enough for everybody. And what have you learned from like the morning calls? How powerful the morning calls are, like how helpful have those been for you?
Yeah, and that's great too. And that's kind of going back to things getting done like over the phone. Like, you have to to speak to each other, to understand what's going on. If I have all my problems during the day, if I'm not sharing that with anybody or expressing that to anybody, nobody's going to know what I have. So us being able to share what's going on, find our results or answers when all of us are going through all of the detail, it makes it like very advantageous to be able to start the day that way. Like,
how competitive are you, Dan?
I'm very competitive. Yeah, I'm very competitive. So I used to not like down in myself, but like I used to beat myself when I wasn't among the top producers. Like when I wasn't having these big numbers every single morning, and that's what made me, I was working overnight. Like I was messaging these guys at 2 a.m. Like, and people are messaging, they're like, hey man, I had to turn my messaging off because I don't want no messages at 2 or 3 in. But business was getting done, man. This is a cultural business where people are from all different places. You got to have respect for people's beliefs, people's religion, the holidays that they celebrate. So I'm going to
How was the culture shock for you, seeing all these different cultures?
It was very crazy because so many of these other industries that deal with big businesses, they're unfortunately, the upper white collar, being able to work for a black owned business and work with multicultural different industries, it made me comfortable. Like it made me so easy to be able to talk to this guy, not knowing he has a Bitcoin with $2 million on it, like in his pocket. Like it just makes it very easy to be able to make long-term relationships with people.
And Darren, like big picture, like what are you looking for? What do you think is like the next big thing for Darren? What are you going to start doing now? Things are cooking for you. What's big picture for Darren?
Big picture is to make myself irreplaceable to a very company that I really believe in. I love what EDM has got going on. Obviously, if I ever learn something or find a passion that I want to start a business for, I know I can do it with your guys' help and success, but to really learn as much as I can and really find as many different ways for me to be a contributor to the business, to really bring as much as I can to the table is really my goal for that. And then to really kind of get myself, more or fully out of that financial, restraint of where I have comfortability and everything. So really just keeping my cards open,
I'm very curious about this one as well, Darren. In terms of like you personally, right? So when you think about like you personally and everything that you've done over the years and you continue to keep doing, do you see yourself as a person that is ever going to stop? And how much have you learned about business doing what you're doing now?
Yeah, you told me in the beginning of it, you were like, you're going to get an MBA by the end of this. Like, I was like, I didn't really graduate. I don't really have no success or anything like in that fashion. Like I didn't graduate with the major degree. I just got my fire degree like that. And you're like, no, like this business will teach you like everything you need to know. This industry will teach you everything you need to know about business. And from the beginning to now, like I feel that I can educate somebody. I feel that I can hold a sturdy enough conversation where I know there's nothing's going on, but you still talk to certain of these people and they're building these AI companies and they're building these software companies or these tracking platform companies. And so getting to learn and continuously hear all these different people's like success stories, but also their struggle stories. And like being able to hear how people didn't succeed the first time they were going out or what they did that made them fail or whatever. Like that it's super cool to be able to see that.
No, it always is. And there's always something, everybody.
I'm trying to keep as many of those as I can out of it, obviously, but
keep them away.
Yeah.
Keep them away from me too. I don't want nothing to do with them. But Darren, I mean, I think the last thing that everybody is really looking to know is like, how can they get in contact with you? How can they learn more from you directly? Like, what's the best way to get a hold of you, man?
Yeah, so biggest things is over kind of like our social medias and everything. So we're definitely really prominent over all of our LinkedIns and social medias. That's where you're really going to be able to get in touch with a lot of the different members of our team. We can connect with us over LinkedIn, Teams, Telegram, reaching out just directly for us. We'll get in contact with exactly what you guys need, putting anybody in the right place for what they're looking for.
Amazing. You guys, this is a special treat. This is a lot of game that was shared on this video, so take the time for it.
What's your next move? What's next for EDM?
Man, really continue to just grow and scale out the broker platform. A lot more features, software, stuff is continually going to come. We have a lot of interest in the business right now. I don't think that it's going to be advantageous for us to sell anything anytime soon.
Yeah.
Next roadmap for us is we're doing 100 million a year.
100 million a year. I'm trying to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Keep moving these accounts, trying to be one of these $1 million employees. It's definitely working out well for me.
Hey, I never thought that we would be able to have team members making money the way they are. Right?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you guys, there's plenty to go around, and there's way more to give.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm excited for what's to come, brother. I really appreciate you having me, man. This is I was super nervous to do, but I'm very glad I was able to do it, man.
no, you did great.
Sharing the success with you, man. It's crazy sight to see, man. I'd love being able to work for you, man, and work with you more than anything. It's cool.
No, brother, come there, man.
Hey, brother. I appreciate it, man.
I got you, brother. No.
Shout out to your dad, man, getting you to where you're supposed to be at, training you the way you are, teaching us what it means.
Hey, shout out, Pop.
Till next time, everyone.
Thank you.